Hi guys, I'm going to introduce what I learned from reading Benjamin Franklin's biography. So this is the autobiography and this is the biography by Walter Isaacson. So I started reading the autobiography originally and it was amazing, so many amazing lessons and such an amazing story. So then I checked out the biography, which is longer and has more details about his life. He had the most amazing life as a printer, scientist, inventor and politician, and he played a very leading role in the independence of the United States. So he played such an important role in the founding of America that he is featured on the $100 bill, and this note is known as the Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
He has an amazing story that I won't go too much into it, I'll just tell you what I learned from him. The first thing is that he left school extremely early. He had so many brothers and sisters, about 13 in total, and he was the youngest. And he left school at a very young age, but he actually created his own education by reading loads and loads of books. And he says that this had such an amazing effect on developing his mind and gave him such an advantage in every area of life just by reading lots of books. And he used to read so many different types of books, and he said this was one of the most amazing things. So when he was also discussing his development and comparing it to other people, he would say that the advantage he had compared to other people was that he was a great reader and read so many books. And at the time it was a lot harder to get books. There weren't didn't have a Kindle, and he founded one of the first libraries in the colonies, and he also founded the University of Pennsylvania later on. So the second thing that I learned from him is how he uses time, and so he wrote out that he in his autobiography he decided that he wants to become morally perfect and be as close to perfect as possible. He says that it's impossible to be 100% perfect, but it shouldn't stop you from trying. And he definitely made a few mistakes in his. He definitely was not totally morally perfect in his life. So these are the different virtues that he had, and one of the biggest ones that he had was industry. And he's famous for saying that he should always be doing something useful and never put off until tomorrow what you can do today. So he had this idea about industry, and this is also an idea about how to use time, and he was always trying to use time in the most effective way. So he used to work extremely hard all the time, but his idea of working hard is not just like working hard, but it's just all the time using your time to do productive things. So it's not like, what I got from this book is that his idea of working hard is not, I will work very hard. His idea of working hard is to always be doing something that's productive and valuable, which I think is quite an interesting difference that I learned from this book. Another interesting thing that he does is that when he disagrees with someone, he will never say it directly, and he has a habit of saying things indirectly if there is a disagreement. And sometimes when he would disagree with someone or had some problem, he would write out a letter with many negative things, but he would not send it. He would just have it in his mind. So he would always try and avoid direct confrontation, and so as a result of this, he didn't have as many enemies. And so this is also a really interesting way of looking at persuading people, which is extremely different, which would look very different to how politics is in America right now today. And he would often use Socratic questions to question the other person, try and let them think about if they're right or wrong, rather than saying it directly. And the other thing that is really cool that I learned from him is about his experiments and how he created and invented different things, such as the Benjamin Franklin stove, and he had some very interesting experiments with electricity. And he also discovered that if you put a big pole on a building, then it will get struck by lightning, but it will protect the building. And he also, he had some very interesting lightning experiments, and he also had an oil experiment in the lake where he dropped the oil in the lake, and then he realized that the lake would become 100% calm and the waves would stop. And this is amazing because what happens is when you drop oil into the lake, like even cooking oil, then the oil spreads out one molecule thick all across, as wide as it is. Even you just drop a teaspoon of olive oil into a lake, it would spread out one molecule thick around you and then it makes the waves much more peaceful in that area, and there's this amazing experiment. So the amazing thing that he has accomplished so many things, and from inventing and working huge work as a printer, and important in the as a founding father in the United States and uniting the colonies and becoming independent. And through all of this, it's very useful to learn about how he did that and how he used his time and his virtues and his philosophy. And a lot of I think it's very useful to learn from people like from Benjamin Franklin. So thank you. And he also identified the Benjamin Franklin effect. If you want someone to like you more or do favors for you, what you could do is you could ask for them to do favors for you, to do a small favor for you, and then you could ask them to do a big favor. And say he was introducing about someone who disagreed with him, but then he asked him to do a small favor, and then he became friends with that person. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.